Welcome everyone back to another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son George. I was my mother's caregiver after my mother was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Unfortunately, she passed on 1/1/2020, but we started TogetherForSharon.com in her memory. Today's guest is somebody I've known for some time, but somebody who truly inspires me. I say that, but it's so different for each individual we have on because they all have such a different journey. And I wanted to welcome you, Kate, to the show. Congratulations on your success and, of course, all you do for Parkinson's awareness and hope for a cure.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, maybe we could start off by telling a little bit about yourself. I know a lot about you, and it's also amazing. So let's keep that going. And maybe you
Yeah,
could tell us, how did you get into the world of Parkinson's awareness and really helping big time with research? We don't really touch a lot, but all the money, maybe we can talk a little bit about today that you raise donations for towards the Michael J. Fox Foundation and Team Fox, who I'm a big supporter, all go towards research towards a cure.
absolutely. So my father was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2006. And he likes to say very quickly he decided that he wasn't going to sit by and he started fundraising. It actually took him a couple years. But we did a family golf tournament. They live in Florida. So we started a golf tournament in 2010. And we did that for 11 years. It was called Golf for the Cure. And so they live in an active adult community with 2 golf courses. So my family would support him running that every year. And so before he finished that in 2021, we as a family had raised over $500,000 for the Michael J. Fox Foundation, which is just phenomenal. I did not know that was his goal. He did not tell us until we wanted to give up in 2020. And he said, we can't stop yet. I want to hit 500,000 before I'm done. So we had to do one more year. But my husband and I, we weren't married yet, but at the time, but we live in York, Pennsylvania, and we, knowing that he wouldn't be running the tournaments forever, we're also event planners, decided that we wanted to do something to keep our community engaged here in York. But also because I live so far away, it felt like it wasn't enough, even though obviously we were doing enough. So we started Shaken Not Stirred, which was a cocktail fundraiser, which actually is happening about a month from now, here in York. We're going to be going into year 8. And out of York itself, we raised over $100,000. So our family at this point has raised over about $650,000 for the foundation. And when you raise money through Team Fox, which is the grassroots fundraising arm of the foundation, 100% of the dollar goes towards the cure and to research. And because of our unique funding model, once the check is in hand at the foundation, it takes only a month for that money to be in the hands of researchers. And actually right now, because the science is outpacing the money that we have, it's actually more like 4 days, which is just insane just to think about. Once the check is in New York, 4 days is how long it takes to get to a researcher.
Well, congratulations on all your amazing efforts. And also, fundraising not easy, as everyone out there probably knows. I don't really want money for ourselves, so we always also join on to Team Fox and Michael J. Fox, but our $4,000 doesn't come close to your 500,000. But
Hey, anything matters. And
uh,
the cool thing about Team Fox is that most of the money that comes in year after year is coming from small events. We're talking pint events, we're talking lemonade stands. It's not the big fundraisers that are making all the difference every year.
yeah. And where is your family originally located in Florida?
They're in Winter Haven, which is about an hour outside of Orlando.
I was saying I'm in South Florida. I would have been sad if I missed all those amazing events.
Yeah.
We need you here. We need Michael J. Fox and Team Fox in South Florida. Hopefully inside word there can get someone out here because we have
There
a
will be a big SAG film fest event happening down there soon in Miami.
oh well. Yeah, I mean we have one of the biggest, donors in the world in Palm Beach County, but for some reason there isn't a big Parkinson's presence, which we would love it for Michael J. Fox Foundation. So thanks again. Hopefully I'll be able to zoom in, if not this year, the next year's event and help fundraise in any way we can too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this year we're actually adding, so Shaken's always on a Sunday. And what we do is there are 6 signature cocktails, and I tell the story of the people behind the cocktails. The idea being like you meet one person with Parkinson's, you meet one person with Parkinson's. So I want people to understand that it's not just an old man's disease. So I tell stories of the people I've met along the way. And this year we're actually adding a forum the day before. So it'll be like a mini version of the foundation's PDIQ, and it'll be for patients and their caregivers. It's free to attend, and I'm working with our local hospital system to build that out. So that'll be on Saturday. And we're really excited to get that off the ground. I wanted to do it in 2020, but alas, 2020. And so we're excited. My dad always says, it's important to build that community and remind people that they're not alone. And I think there's a really big disconnect. People go to their exercise classes, they may go to their support groups, but the further you get along in the disease, the more you stay at home and you hide from the world. And I want to combat that. So if I can get you to exchange phone numbers with one person at the forum, then I feel like I've done my job. So
yeah, I'm think you've done even more than your job, and I really appreciate all you do. And it's just incredible the amount of notoriety for this. Of course, I've been following you for some time, and you always make me smile. And we were lucky enough to be at a virtual event just last week that you mentioned, and it's always again really something different being there, whether live or virtual, to help this cause. So thank you for that.
yeah,
I
of
wanted
course.
to take a moment now to share and thank you. This is the thank you, Kate hour. This is again, we've known each other for some time. It's amazing how quickly it goes. But if everyone listening wants to go to TogetherForSharon.com, click interviews, you can see a lot more with Kate, also about her background and a little bit also about her father, passion, and how to reach out to her. So I just wanted to thank you again for that. And then please follow her and support her on Facebook and also her other social media. Connected a lot, obviously, to Michael J. Fox Foundation. You can see a lot of updates and things on her family and all the work that she's doing. And then the most important page, not that they're all important, is the fundraising. Just the other day, someone donated $50, I think, an hour to Michael J. Fox in memory of my mother, which was beautiful. But today's about supporting Kate. So please donate through her page. And you can go to give.michaeljfox.org/fundraiser/561-3301 to help support her directly, literally. So maybe you could touch a little bit about how you found out about the Team Fox and why select them over so many other organizations out there.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of really great organizations. There are a lot of really great Parkinson's organizations. They all do something a little different. What I really loved about the Michael J. Fox Foundation is when you go there, especially as a newly diagnosed person or a family that is just found out that you are now going to be dealing with the disease, there are just so many wonderful resources. But for me, it's the impact. We're talking billions of dollars in the 20 years that the foundation has been around that have gone directly into research. And even if you're not raising money through Team Fox and you're donating directly to the foundation, it's about 80 cents to the dollar that's going straight to research. And that's really unheard of in a lot of large nonprofits. To not have more taken out for overhead and salaries and all the other admin costs. People really like to know that their money is going to the thing that they are donating for. Also, find me another organization whose mission statement is to close its doors. I just think that's so powerful, that we want to cure this disease and no longer have a job. When I went to apply for the job at the foundation that I now have, I remember my husband saying, what if you get this job and then we cure Parkinson's and then you don't have a job anymore? And then I said something like, well, then good. That's all I've wanted for the past nearly 20 years. Yes, will that throw a wrench in my plans? Of course, but it'll be what my family and so many other people I've met along the way have wanted for so long.
Yeah, we say I won't stop, even though some days it's tough for myself, health and other things. But my dream is to have the cure at all of our doorsteps, not just one or two. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate. There's so
Yeah.
much more to talk about, and I do want to kind of touch a lot of talks I've had actually never really focus on, but I know we've seen some advances over the last 10 years, but for Michael J. Fox Foundation and with this amazing donations, everyone listening, please support Kate. Also donate, even $1 helps change really so many lives. But what kind of research do you see in the last decade that's kind of come forth? And also, what do you hope for the future? I know we're not both, I'm a PhD, but not in this kind of science, but maybe since you have the inside tip, if I had the sound effects, I'd be doing it now. But maybe you could kind of, I don't want to get you in trouble either, but
No, no, yeah.
anything
The
you,
I think the most important thing is that, there are people out there waiting to do the work. And the money has been the problem. If you think about when COVID started, the minute that the government threw all the money at it, how quickly did we have vaccines? There are people out there ready to do the research, they're ready to help us find a cure. So getting to be able to open those checkbooks, to get the money flowing, to get it in the right hands, is just so important. The main medicine that people take for Parkinson's, the carbidopa levodopa, has been around since like the 50s and 60s. That's ridiculous. So I just think it's so important that we continue to do research. In the past year alone, we have found a biomarker. That's what we've been looking for so long. We can now, using spinal fluid, detect if you have Parkinson's well before you even develop symptoms. Is it a cure? No, but it makes things, it now is not the time to take our foot off the gas. The other really important thing about what we do at the foundation is that our data sets for our research are open to the public. I don't remember the exact number, but we're talking like the exact number of times that the data set that people have downloaded the biomarker is out of control. Like, people want to use this data and they're using it to find other things. At last year's, I think it was MVP last year, we met a guy who had developed a thing to help people swallow, because people with Parkinson's don't swallow as much as people without Parkinson's. And that data that he was using to do that came from the biomarker research. Another person had, they were looking at hallucinations or delusions or other things, and they can use this data that has been funded by other foundation projects. So, there's just so much, we're just on the precipice of all of this work. And we talk about the money that's going into this and how it doesn't seem like it's that much at times, but say you need the salary of one person who's doing a study or doing their research. What if that's the person who finds the cure? Like, we just have no idea. What if it's somebody right out of school doing research in a lab, and their stipend is 50 grand to do this research in a lab? 50 grand is what we made in a year at a golf tournament. What if that's it? So I just think it's so important that we keep going, we keep looking for things, and while we're still on the hunt for a cure, we're still able to help work on things that make living with Parkinson's more manageable, whether it's dyskinesia, whether my soapbox these days is dealing with delusions and hallucinations. 1 out of every 2 Parkinson's patients will suffer with that at some point in their life. My father is in the depths of some dementia right now. And I got to tell you, it's harder for our family and more painful to watch than other parts of Parkinson's. And we don't talk about it enough. And it affects so many people. So how can we help that? Knowing that's out there, how do we, what other resources can we put out there to help with that? The mental health, the support. There are just so many opportunities for us to continue to grow and to support everything else around us as we search for a cure.
And my first book was actually about that, how my mother had delusions and hallucinations, and it's tough. And sometimes I think people don't want to see the reality of it. And obviously, no, not everyone goes through that, but we send our love to you and the family, and sorry you have to join us, unfortunately, in, this journey. But the one good thing is that we're all bound by one thing, and that's to find a cure. And just incredible, 99.9% of the community, just so beautiful and almost feels like family. My wife reminds me sometimes, you can't say that to everyone, but this is not something that is really fun. We might have a little fun at the events and obviously fundraising for a good cause, but I'd rather, like you said, cure it and not, and talk about something else, like the new NBA basketball season or something. But until we find a cure, it's not possible. But your efforts and everyone in Team Fox kind of make me want to do more. I had the honor to speak to many, like George and yourself, and if it was up to me, I'd be on stage interviewing every person at the NBA MVP, just because each person has a journey. And I always say the only journey today that breaks my heart is the one that I'm not aware of. And
Mhm.
if I could ever be of help, obviously, I'm out here for everyone too. And we don't want anything except to help fundraise for all of you. And that's the most important thing, because not many things in 2024 can we fight together. It seems the world's so divided, but this one topic seems to be something that can bring everyone together. So again, thanks for all that you do.
Mhm.
So I'm going to stop sharing now and kind of want to shift a little to more about Kate. This is the part I love about the show, but can you list 3 words that describe who you are?
Oh,
I think that's the number one answer right there.
yeah, right. 3 words, 3 words, 3 words.
And pass if you'd like.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Um, I don't know.
We'll pass.
Yeah, we'll pass. We'll
And come
pass.
back. This one
Yeah.
might be tougher. You ready? This one's gonna.
Okay.
What's one moment or one most memorable moment that stands out through most of your work with awareness so far that you can share?
So the second year that I had Shaken Not Stirred, I was at a local restaurant hosting the event, and I had a friend who had bought tickets for someone. And I knew that the guy probably had Parkinson's disease, but he hadn't disclosed to his friends and his coworkers. So I'm, obviously, once you know enough about Parkinson's, you get really good at picking them up off the street. You're like, hey, that person's got Parkinson's. So I, knowing this, turned to one of my friends who worked with the gentleman, and I said, I'll just take care of this. So I go over with my father and I said, hi, I just wanted to thank you for coming. I'm Kate. I'm friends with so and so. I just wanted to thank you for coming today. Introduce you to my dad. He's the reason I do what I do. My dad shook his hand, and my dad said, how long have you been in my club? And the guy goes, excuse me. And he said, actually, I was diagnosed less than 2 months ago. And so he said, I've actually never told anyone other than my wife. And my dad sits down with him, proceeds to talk to him. The wife comes back up, sits down. Soon they're all crying, they're talking. I go get my mother, I bring her over. They talk for like 45 minutes or an hour. The next day, I have a voicemail from my friend who bought the tickets, who had called to tell me that he had called him earlier that morning and said it was the first day that he woke up and did not want to die. And I just think that's why we do what we do. Um, my dad literally always tells people, the first thing he tells them when they call, or used to tell them, is that you are not alone. And I think it's just so important to remind people that a diagnosis is not a death sentence. You can live your life for so long, and just continue to live it. And yes, you're going to have struggles, and not every day is going to be easy. But I always say I don't wish Parkinson's on anybody, but by God, if there's a better family to fall into, it's this Team Fox family. I've met some of the most amazing people in my life. We're so quick to call and rat each other out if somebody needs a phone call, they need an extra helping hand, they need flowers sent, they need groceries sent, they need a reminder to get up or out of the house, or anything like that. It's just such a great, it's the most caring. I'm sure everybody feels that way about whatever family they have fallen into with the disease, but this family it's amazing.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's really why I started TogetherForSharon.com, because I felt alone as a caregiver. And oddly enough, my mother never met somebody who had Parkinson's. I just realized that a month ago. And
Wow.
I wish I had known you and Team Fox and Michael J. Fox and all this before, because I think, like you said, she wouldn't have felt alone. And unfortunately, we can't go back, but we can go forward and make sure others don't have that. So thanks for that. This is an important question, the next one. And obviously, you mentioned a few of it, and I know probably the answer, but who helps you during times of struggle? I was a caregiver like you, and wondering what tips you could give those listening who are caregivers. But I always like this moment to bring the people in the background out, not literally, but to thank them for supporting you, because as you probably would agree, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do this without my wife and family and my children supporting me even now as an advocate.
You probably won't be surprised to know that I'm the cheerleader of the family. So, if we're about to have a tough conversation at the nursing home, or my mom needs to be reminded, I like to call her and say that she's a badass, or, remind her she can do it, and all of those things. Like, I'm that one, and it's rah rah, or I'm the one for my sister to call and, talk about her feelings. And so I try not to burden them with my thoughts sometimes, which I know is not fair. But if you're the one who is trying to be the strength for them, so you have to find the other people that you then can give that to and let them hold that for you. I am very lucky to be surrounded by some really, really wonderful friends. Also my husband, who jokes, I'm not good at feelings, you'll have to tell me what you need from me. So but I also have some friends who have lost parents, who are also in grieving processes of their own. So, that can be helpful sometimes, because, people don't tell you that this is such a long term grieving process that you go through, especially as a caregiver, as a child of someone in a situation like this. You're grieving the loss, the changes, the changed relationship, um, as you're caregiving, as things are changing, and then whatever will happen, and then you grieve again, and it's a whole different thing. So I just think it's so much longer and drawn out than most people will ever have to face. And I think we have to give ourselves extra grace, and we also worry about burdening the people around us, as we go through that as well. So it's just, you have to have those people that you can say the things to. And also humor for us as a family is important. So even in the worst of times, I will find something to laugh about, even if I'm cleaning up poop.
You don't need the visual for that one. But we do send our love and thanks to the family, and I know it means a lot to me that they're out there for you too. So,
Mhm.
uh, is there something that you might have done differently looking back the last 10 years?
Hmm.
That's why we don't plan this on purpose.
Yeah. I I often think about, and as you get, I don't want to say as you get closer to the end, but I think that it would I think we are closer to the end. So it's something that, you do have to admit to yourselves. I do often think to myself, like, should I have stayed closer to home? Should I have moved back? And I think about that a lot. But I don't think my dad, he wouldn't have wanted that for me. The life I have built for myself here in York, the things I do in my community, even now that he doesn't remember, he doesn't understand, I know that if he did, he would continue to be so proud. So, um, I think I would have tried to visit more, but I mean, I visit a lot. So, would I've tried to advocate more? Yeah, but I do a lot, so I think that maybe I would have been more kind to myself. Maybe we all should be more kind to ourselves. Um, but I don't know if I don't think I would have done anything differently.
Yeah, I always say the first most important thing is take care of yourself as a caregiver, and then also as an advocate, and I don't do either. So, because I always say, and people might be tired of this, but it's true. Let's say today something came up, like we won't give all the details, but you weren't feeling well. Let's say I am tired because it's been a long week. My mother would have had her birthday Saturday, so
Mhm.
it was a tough one. But so let's say we both canceled and said, all right, maybe in the future. Well, maybe that one person we reached today wouldn't have their world change forever for the positive. And that's why I
Mhm.
always say, no matter if a truck rolls over me, I'm still going to be right by your side
Yeah. Yeah.
fighting. I appreciate you being here and all that you do. What motivates and drives you?
Um, I think last year in my shaken speech, I remember I don't like to prepare for things. I like to go off book. I'm better without a script than I am with a script. And I think at the end of the day, I said at the end of the speech, I said something like, "At the end of the day, I'm just a girl who, um, loves their father and is mad that this disease is taking from him and wishes they could stop it. And because I can't stop it, I'm going to do everything in my power to be a part of something bigger than themselves to find a cure so that nobody like me, no other little girl, no other little boy, no other wife, husband, sibling has to go through what I have gone through."
Yeah, I mean, it's almost mirrors what I believe. So, in a way, I kind of feel you almost more than others might, unless they're sitting in the same situation.
Mhm.
So, I appreciate your honesty too. This one's a fun one to get off the sadness. If you were asked to write a script to a movie about your life story, what would you call it?
Oh, so we do this thing every now and then where we will say things like, "Oh, that's the name of my autobiography," and it's always something ridiculous. Like one time, it was like when silence has a sound, or when pointing has a sound, because I can get like over animated and really excited and stuff like.
I like that.
So I don't know. It might be something like that. I don't know.
That's awesome. And if you could leave the Parkinson's community today with some words of encouragement, what would they be? Also, while Kate's thinking on that one, please support her. Please go to the Michael J. Fox Foundation. You can also reach Kate through the interview at Together for Sharon. She's incredible. She's always right there for me, and I know she will be for you. But please support all that she does, because she's really working for everyone, not just her own family, and also in memory of all those we've lost due to Parkinson's. Hopefully, we will find a cure very, very soon. Hopefully now, how about the answer?
Yeah. I think that it would be a mix of my dad always saying that you are not alone. And that like we can do hard things. Like, I mean, we shouldn't have to, and I hope that we don't have to do it all the time, but we can do hard things if we can do them together. So find your people, surround yourself in that with that group, get the best care team. Um, you're not alone in this. So don't let yourself get to that point where you feel like you are, and reach out.
I appreciate it. Is there any other areas you wanted to touch on, or how can everyone reach you or support you?
Yeah, just I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Shaken Not Stirred is November 10th. The forum for Parkinson's is on the 9th of November, the day before. So if you're in the central PA or Baltimore area, you're welcome to come join us. Shoot me a message and we'll get you hooked up.
Were you at the Unity Walk last year?
I was not, but I will be
Oh,
this year.
because I was gonna be sad if we walked by each other and we didn't
Yeah.
see. Yeah. I was really sick when I got home. I'm from Brooklyn, but I moved
Oh yeah.
to Florida in '95 and never really went back after that.
Go.
That's why I became a police officer. But it's hard. I don't know what it is with the traveling to New York.
Yeah,
Definitely recommend everyone too listening to go to the Unity Walk every
absolutely.
year for April for Parkinson's Awareness Month. We had our whole family was there. It was such a beautiful time, and raised, I believe, like 2 million or more dollars just in 4 hours, which was beautiful. And
Yeah.
Mr. Fox actually showed up and gave a speech, which was really cool. So
Yeah.
I just want to thank you for your time, friendship. This conversation to me cannot end just with this brief talk. It has to continue till we find a cure. I wanted to thank everyone listening. I want to thank Kate and Team Fox and Michael J. Fox Foundation. We love all the things that all of you do, and without you, I would probably be missing a part of my sanity and my advocacy. Because again, when I see all Team Fox and all the courageous and incredible, inspiring people out there fighting, I always want to jump right in and kind of hold on to the handrail, even though I can't ride a bike. So at least I'm somewhat with you all. But I really, again, enjoyed our time. I hope there's many more to come. Hopefully, we'll be able to join you in the future too at a live event. But this is all about Kate, also the fundraising. And again, I just want to thank everyone. I do have one little statement for you and everyone listening. We love you. We support you. We care a lot about you, and you're never alone. I, along with Kay, will advocate for you. And together, I feel our voices are so much stronger. And I always kind of joke and say I'm just getting started because like before we met, I found you and I was inspired by you, and you make me want to not just be a better person, but a better advocate. And as long as I see you fighting, I'm going to always be right by your side, even if it's virtually. So I really appreciate everything. And thanks again, Kate. And thank you all for listening. We send our love and support, and you're never alone. We'll continue this conversation until there's a cure at your doorstep. So this has been another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son, George. Please stay tuned. So much more to come. Thanks, everyone.